that stuff works? Now, where are we now? Okay. I know. I'm trying not to be just kind of redundant. I've taught a lot of this before over the years. But I want you to hear where we are, and I have to go ahead tonight since it's New Year's Eve. I guess actually New Year's now. But since it is, you need to know where you are. Now, you say, why would you teach it tonight? Why would you go to all the trouble to recap everything and bring us up to this thing? It's because, see, the Rosh Hashanah, Rosh, the head of the year. So Rosh Hashanah is actually God's timetable of when the new year begins. Right? Okay, so this is September the what? 7th. All right, it's 2022, 5782 in Israel. It is the new year. But it won't become the new year here till January the 1st. So that's about 3 months and so many days until it turns new year. So right now you're 3 months and so many days in the future. You're already in the future, so that you will have 3 months and so many days to declare what you want to come before January gets here, so that you can start speaking it now, and you speak it from your future where there is no sin. And you're speaking from a place, God gave nations a place of purity if they would just start talking righteousness for the next 3 months or so. And every year it's just that way, so that you can walk over into January 1 and you step into it. You've already been in 2022 for months now, and all you're going to do now is recognize the rest of the year as you walk through it. You already know what's coming for you. Does that make sense to you? That is a New Year's Eve message preached from a prophet's view. So you're in the... Yeah, that's right. So you're in the future now. Right now. Oh yeah. The rest of the world won't walk into 2022 until January. But we as God's people are already there. And so you're about to learn what's going on and what we're going to do in this 3-month period. Hallelujah. Now, and yeah, I will, Lord. In 2012, I was standing right up there in that sound booth, and I heard this word from the Lord. Hit me hard. I just turned all the way around in a circle and landed like this on my notebook. And the Lord said, write it down. Write this down. So I started writing. He said, the time of Moses has begun. The time of coming out has begun. He said, a sequence of things in the world has begun, and a sequence of things in the church for the time of coming out has begun. I didn't say anything for a couple weeks. But he said the time of Moses had started. Well, after a couple weeks, the longest river in China turned blood red. Lake Irma turned blood red. The longest river in Beirut turned blood red. A fiery pillar was caught by the news cameras going across the Australian desert. A swarm of locusts hit Cairo, Egypt at their marketplace right before Passover. A snake showed up swallowing another snake on world news. It was on. The time of Moses had started. 2013 came along. 2013, 2 plus 1 plus 3 is 6. The year of the 6. What happened that year? Thanksgiving and Hanukkah fell on the same day. What else happened that year? A meteor, a comet went over called Ison. And when this comet went over, it was exactly 666 years from the time the first comet, I think, called Kirsch, went over the earth and the Black Death hit the earth. 666 years later was 2013. when it came over, the very day. During that time, suddenly ISIS arose. The militant group ISIS, wearing 666 on their headbands and 666 on their armbands, and they were cutting the heads off of Christians and Jews. The year of the six had started. And on it went. It just kept coming, one prophetic thing after another. And then 2019 hit. 2016 came first, and I heard the Lord say, I was standing about right here on the stage, maybe right in here, and in 2016, I heard the Lord say, He said, there's a harvest of sickness coming to the earth. He said, it's coming after the children of the wicked one. And then in 2019, April the 30th, I was standing here and looked at Robin and I said, there's coming a plague. It's going to be a plague. It'll be international. And when it comes, the unscrupulous men will take advantage of this. We need to pray. And it came. And as soon as everything started shutting down, the Lord told me, He said, you're headed for a Red Sea time. Well, I'm looking at all of this. I'm watching this. And suddenly the St. Mary's River ran blood red. Other big bodies of water turned into blood. There were so many locusts swarming around Africa that the swarms were big as small nations. Another snake showed up hanging on and wrapped around another snake, eating it. Made world news. He said, you're still in the time of Moses. We had every plague happening. Even the bubonic plague showed up. Everything was happening. Everything was moving. Everything was going. But we didn't have a death angel until the coronavirus came. And then suddenly people were locked behind doors. They were locked behind the doors and they hung red ribbons on their doors. It's the time of the second Passover. And then while everybody was shut in, they didn't have nothing else to do, so social media started a brilliant game called Show Me Your Pictures of Your Firstborn. So now the firstborn was in the news. The ribbons were on the door. Water was turning to blood. Snakes swallowing snakes. And now a death angel going by every door. All of this was happening. So you're in this time, this timeline. So we approach the Red Sea. See, God had defeated every god in Egypt. And there was one God He was after. It was Baal. He wanted Baal. Suddenly, arches of Baal started showing up in England, Italy, New York. They're bringing out 3D printed pictures, replicas of the Arch of Baal where they marched the babies through to kill them. And they printed 1,000 of these. And so God is calling out Baal. And so we get to the Red Sea. And I'm in Washington, D.C. on the 6th of January. And I stretched that rod right over there against the wall. I stretched it out over the reflecting pool and told the Red Sea to part at the order of the Lord. It went crazy that day. Everything just broke out and went crazy. And the Red Sea, the Republican Party divided. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. And we were at a Red Sea time. Now it's going to get ready. See, the Lord said it's going to close. So you have to be ready. It will close. I hope you're ready for this. Now I'm going to show you something. And I want you to watch this close. This would be, Steve Schultz would really like this on an intelligence briefing, what I'm about to say. So if Steve's watching, I want you to go to the book of Psalms. And I want to show you something tonight where we are. And there's so many timelines I could tell you. So many timelines I could say. But you know the one about the towers. You know the one about McCain and Hillary and Bill Clinton. You know the one about the Passover and the Red Sea time and all that. Now you see these timelines. I want to show you something right here. And I know it seems like I've skipped around maybe, but just stay with me. Now, the creation of man in the Jewish teaching happened in the year 3760. Now, you need to know that. 3760 is when it took place. Now, the Hebrew calendar is different than our calendar. You know that. This is what, 5782? Okay, now who's got a calculator? I want you to look at this and participate with me just a minute. So if you take 5782, that's this year, right now. Now take the creation of man, 3760, and subtract it from 5782 and tell me what the sum is. 2022. Every single year of the Jewish calendar, if you subtract the creation date of man from it, it will always be the year you're in. The two nations are forever connected. Now, it will work on any of them, okay? Okay, let's look at this. Okay, so we'll just take one. Let's see here. So this is 5782. Last year was 5781. Subtract 3760 from that. What do you have? 2021. It will always work that very way. Now, Satan is looking at a new timeline. And you have to understand, he knows this. Okay, here's something you may not have known. Okay, Psalm 1. Psalm 1, if you took all the dates from Psalm 150 and you started doing it on Jewish dates and you went all the way back, Psalm 1 is 5661. That would have been the Hebrew year 5661. Subtract 3760 from that and tell me what you have. Huh? 5661. Subtract 3760 from it. 1901. So 1901 coincides with Psalm 1. 1902 is Psalm 2. 1903 is Psalm 3. 1904 is Psalm 4. 1905 is Psalm 5. 1906 is Psalm 6, and on it goes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's true. And you start going through the Psalms and you find right when Hitler did what he did and read the Psalms that coincide with the years. You'll be amazed what you're reading. But there's an end to the Psalms. Satan knows that. And it all lines up. And this is what he's working off of. I just need to hush and well, I don't want to put you to sleep. Okay, now, I want to show you a mystery here that's hidden in the Psalms. Now, I got to show you one, so let's see. Let's do Psalm. Okay, we'll do Psalm 1. We'll just start there. Okay, 5661. Okay? All right, now, add those numbers. 5 plus 6 plus 6 plus 1. What is it? Huh? 18? Yes? Yes? I'm talking about adding plus, 5 plus 6 plus 6 plus 1. Okay? But see, God's people